The realize phase is not about making big changes in your life. It's about small shifts in how you become present in your life, how you wake up and see your world, how you actually experience and focus on the beauty and the gifts that are around you in your life, the goodness that is already there. Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to the BDI Create.today podcast. This is a podcast where we'll discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together, we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in your heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I am Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. But mostly, I am someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into our lives. Now, each week we're going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Create Today. Let's start off our conversation with a little imagination today. So I want you to close your eyes, but if you're in the car, just imagine this, okay? But I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine for a moment that you are in the car. And you are driving to, say, the grocery store, a store that you've been to so many times you can't even count, right? You have made this drive 100 times. The same roads, the same route, the same turns, the same stoplight where you always seem to catch the red. You know what I'm talking? And as you started your trip, you backed out of your driveway, and then somewhere between your house and the parking lot, you just kind of disappeared a little bit. You were just gone. Not physically. You didn't break any rules of the road. You got there just fine. But your mind, it went on autopilot the moment you started your car. And the whole drive, the one that took you past parks and flowering gardens, past people walking their dogs, past a stretch of sky that was honestly probably breathtaking, you probably didn't see any of it or much of it. Not because it wasn't there, but because you were on autopilot. Life is happening, but you're not really experiencing it. Autopilot is when you're moving through a routine so often that it turns into a well-worn groove. And instead of choosing your actions one at a time as you go through this routine, you just follow this well-worn path. It's so familiar that you barely need to even recognize what is happening around you because you know what's going to happen next. And most of us are living sections of our days on autopilot. Now, this can be a really great way to let your mind just kind of click in and get some tasks completed without over exhausting your mind. But if we live most of our day on autopilot, this is where we run into problems. Because, as I said, most of us are living big sections of the day on autopilot, not just on the drive to the grocery store, but also in many other areas of our life. We are moving through conversations, routines, meals, evenings, bedtimes, whole weeks without really paying attention to the beauty, the goodness, the joy of the moment we could be realizing. And today we're going to talk about why this happens and what the cost is to you. And most importantly, how to step out of autopilot so that you can realize the beauty you might be overlooking if you're letting autopilot steer you through your day. because realize this is the second word in the FourWords framework for your well-being that we've been chatting about. Starting last week, we began exploring my Going FourWords framework. And this is a simple and yet powerful way to move through your life with more intention, more clarity, and better self-care for yourself. The 4 words in my Going FourWords framework are revive, realize, refine, and release. And last week, we started with the first word, revive. This first Going FourWords episode was about knowing when your energy is lower than you're willing to admit, and then understanding the importance of giving yourself permission to restore your depleted energy before you burn out. Last week, you found solutions to help you understand how to revive when you're running on empty. So today, we're going to be turning our attention to the second word in our 4 words framework, and that word is realize. So your energy is renewed. You know how to build up energy so that your fuel tank is full and ready to go. But having energy and then actually using it to truly experience life, they're two very different things. You can be well rested, but still floating through life and not really getting the most out of it. And as we discussed, it could be because you're on autopilot. You can be functioning well and still missing beauty in your life. And that's what the realize phase is all about. Learning to see what you might be missing. And realize has 2 layers, and I want to walk through both of them because together they're what make this stage so important and so powerful. So phase 1 in the realize stage is about turning your awareness inward. How are you really? And when you think about this, don't give yourself the answer you would give someone in passing. You know, you see an acquaintance and they call out, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you answer, "Fine," right? Today, I want you to pause and really ask yourself this question honestly. How are you? Most of us have been so conditioned to think outward about responsibilities, about what others need, about what's next on the to-do list, so that when we think about checking in on ourselves, we confuse it with checking on how many of our responsibilities we have checked off our list today. You cannot take care of yourself if you can't realize how you are today. You can't respond to other people's needs or your own needs if you haven't noticed what your needs are. So the first part of the realize phase is developing a practiced habit of just asking yourself, how am I? And what might I need? And then phase 2 is all about turning your awareness outward with fresh eyes. And when I say outward, for the realize phase, I'm not talking about thinking about what others need. I'm talking about realizing the importance of actually paying attention and seeing your world again. And this means realizing the beauty around you, noticing those small pleasures that are hiding in plain sight, actually seeing the blessings you have that are worth slowing down for, that are already right here in front of you, that autopilot has been quietly filtering out. Because here's what I've come to believe, that most people don't need a different life to feel better. They need a different way of seeing the life they already have. And this is where your creativity becomes one of the most powerful tools you have. And I want to be clear here. I am not talking about making art, making beautiful paintings or drawings or sculpture. I'm talking about creativity in its most essential form, which is the ability to notice beauty and appreciate it, to pay attention in a way that is specific and makes you more alive. to look at something ordinary and realize what you're seeing rather than just sleepwalking through your day on autopilot. That drive to the grocery store shouldn't be a chore. My friend, it is 10 minutes of sky and trees and parks and pups. What can you see and think about that will make you smile as you drive to the store? And then think about other simple actions that you might float through during the day. Your morning coffee isn't just a way to gulp down some caffeine to get a kick of energy. It is warmth and it is a smell of goodness and it is a taste of morning and it is a moment of quiet clarity that if you realize it, you can enjoy, just graciously enjoy it before your day really kicks in, right? But this only happens if you allow yourself to realize, okay? Think about conversations with friends and family, especially children. You might be half present for these conversations, especially if you're thinking about the more hectic times during your day, getting ready to go out the door, getting children ready for the school bus, or getting children ready for bed, especially if you're tired. These are times where we kind of go on autopilot because we have responsibilities we're just trying to get done, right? What if you were really there to enjoy those little memories that you're making each day, each morning, each bedtime with your friends, your family, your children, your partner? When you use creativity as a tool to help you realize, it helps you focus and collect and remember these special moments because many of these incredibly great moments are so small and they happen really fast because life is short and it's too short to allow most of your day to be spent lost in autopilot. When you make the choice to realize and see the world around you, and you use this creative tool regularly, it can change everything. Now, let's talk a little bit about the science behind the word realize. Let's see what's actually happening in your brain when you allow yourself to realize and see the world around you. Let me give you some actual facts here because I think it helps to explain why autopilot is so hard to escape and why it matters so much to live in the moment. First, your brain is constantly filtering reality, and it's been programmed to do this. During an average day, your senses are absorbing an enormous amount of energy every single moment, and all of this cannot be processed continually or easily. So your brain has systems to decide what gets your attention. This is important, not so much. That's totally not important. It's constantly making those decisions. And it constantly is deciding what gets quietly filtered out. And here's the important part. What your brain decides to prioritize is shaped by what you've told it is important. What matters? You tell your brain these things. So let's say you've been thinking about getting a new car and you'd like it to be an electric car and you want it to be red. Suddenly, red electric cars, well, you start to see them everywhere and you're surprised. Oh my gosh, look how popular they are. But in reality, these specific cars didn't multiply overnight. Your brain just started flagging red electric cars as something that was important, something that was relevant to your mind. That's your brain's salience network at work. This is a sophisticated system that directs your attention towards what you have decided is important to you right now. A particular snafu in the salience network is this. Our brains are evolutionarily wired with a negativity bias, which means we tend to notice what we think could be bad or go wrong in our life or be threatening to us more than what could go right or what is beautiful or what would make us happy. So, from a survival standpoint, this makes total sense. Paying attention to danger helped keep our ancestors alive. But today, that same bias can make us miss the good things that are happening around us. We are inundated through social media and our phones and constant access to 24/7 news blasts. And a lot of that is, if it leads, it bleeds kind of information. So that's what our brain is collecting because it thinks we might be in danger. But in order to change that negativity bias, it is up to you to tell your brain, I want to look for some pretty things too. I want to look for beauty in my life as well. Let me know the things that are really dangerous for me, but let's look for beauty as well. So if you don't intentionally direct your attention to goodness, your brain is going to go to its default, and it will default to what's unfinished, what could go wrong, and what could be put on autopilot. And think about that kind of day. If all you are thinking about is what you didn't get done, what could go wrong, or you're just floating around on autopilot, do you think that's going to be a day where you're going to feel happy, where you're going to be able to realize joy, where you're going to be able to appreciate blessings in your life? Just worrying about what could happen, you won't be able to realize a single beautiful thing about your beautiful morning. Not because you're ungrateful, but because your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is make thinking easier, go on autopilot, and keep you safe. Worry about things that could happen that would not be good for you. So the realize phase in the Going FourWords framework is your creative tool that you can use to interrupt this default and train your brain and your attention towards the beauty that is in your life that will make you happier. And when you're able to realize by consciously focusing on things that you love and appreciate, this causes your brain to release dopamine and serotonin, and this gives those feelings of reward and relaxation. The more you practice how to realize, the easier it is for your brain to produce these neurochemicals in response to appreciating your everyday beauty. Now, at first, this is something that you'll have to consciously remind yourself to do. I need to realize, I need to think about good things. But when you remember to realize and you're consistent, it's like building a trail through tall grass. And the more you walk it, the clearer the path appears, and it will be easier to do. So the more you look for and realize your gratitude and your awareness, the more the brain learns to tune into positive things in your world. Not just because you're ignoring difficult things, because you're not, but because you're training your attention to do more than just focus on staying away from danger. So when you become mindful of how to realize your world, this becomes a mindset shift in not only how you think, but also how you experience your life. And it starts with the simple decision to notice, to see, to realize. Now, before we go on, please note, I am not saying that there aren't hard things happening in the world right now, because there are. Our world is really a heavy place, and it quite often feels like we are stepping on disaster. And some of you might be thinking, the world is constantly showering me with troubling news and politics that are dividing my family. And for some, even the weather has been scary lately. And on top of all of that, there is illness and relationship troubles and financial worries. The list of things that you could and probably are worrying about, those are long and they are heavy. And I see you. You are right. There is conflict. There is division. There are storms. There's loss. All of these things happen, and sometimes all in the same week. Choosing to enjoy the laughter of children at a park or the neighbor's amazing flowers is not a denial that all of this heavy stuff is happening in the world. but it is a refusal to let all the hard things be the only things your brain is allowed to register. And that is what is healthy. Remember, the brain has that negative bias. So, left unchecked, that's what it will fixate on. Our world already has a focus on drama and violence. Just hop onto any streaming platform to watch a movie, and war, violence, domestic dramas are the majority of choices you have to choose from. So, understanding how to realize your world, that is really important. A gratitude practice doesn't stop you from looking out for possible problems or solving your problems or coping with the world, but it helps you to stop only noticing them. You see, you can acknowledge what's heavy and choose to see what's lovely. You can carry real grief and still let the warmth of your coffee be something that you can appreciate. In fact, research suggests that a practice of widening your attention to include beauty in your life, even in hard seasons, is one of the most powerful things you can do for your resilience. Not because it takes away the bad stuff, but because it reminds your nervous system that the whole world is not a threat. And there are still good things in life worth seeing and experiencing, even in hard times. That is a way to survive on a different level. So, my friend, I hope that right now you're thinking, I am super curious about this realize phase. And I'm curious to know, you might say, how can I use realize as a skill in my life? Well, let's explore what this looks like when you can put it into practice. And you know, I love a good list. So I have 7 ways for you to wake up and realize the beauty in your world. And none of these are complicated. They're all invitations to help you see and appreciate your life every day. So, number 1, pick a different route. So, this one deals specifically with autopilot. The next time you make your usual drive or walk to work or the store, take a different way. Even one different turn in your route can change how you see what is around you. Your brain is freed from that deep groove that autopilot makes, and it suddenly wakes up and you start to realize the world around you again. Number 2, name 3 things you might be overlooking right now. So wherever you are, I want you to pause for a second and find 3 things you have been overlooking in the room you're in right now. That could be textures, or it could be something in a color you've never really noticed, or shadows in the room, or something that has just been there for so long you haven't paid attention to it. And this could also be sounds around you. Can you hear the wind blowing or birds singing? Or can you hear the whir of a fan? Just give yourself time to notice and think about what you have noticed. And then allow yourself to realize you've just completed a brain reset and be amazed that you've done something extraordinary for yourself. And it took less than a minute. Number 3, stay with one good moment 10 seconds longer. This one is something I want you to remember to do when you realize something feels pleasant. Enjoying a good cup of coffee, a laugh with someone that you love, the feeling of stepping outside into warm, fresh air. Don't rush past it. I want you to realize how you feel. Literally stop for a second and feel the emotion. Where are you feeling it? Is it in your heart? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your head? Where are you feeling it? Really think about it. Realize where this good feeling lands for you, and then let your brain register this goodness as something that is good. Positive emotions tend to slide off us really quickly. So, gratitude and intentional noticing of these feelings help us hold on to the bliss a little longer. Even 10 extra seconds of this kind of realizing is a beautiful place to start, and it adds goodness to your day. Number 4, check in with yourself honestly. So at least once a day, I want you to pause and ask yourself out loud, how am I really? And remember, this is not the I'm fine version that you would tell a coworker. The actual answer should be something that you're truly feeling. Tired, anxious, happy, nervous about something that you haven't quite named yet. You can't know how to respond to an emotion if you don't first realize how you are. So take that time and ask it out loud, because you'll really pay attention to it then. How are you really? Number 5, describe one ordinary thing and then realize how precious it is. So I want you to pick out something that you interact with every day. It could be a favorite mug that you use, a special figurine that you've displayed on a shelf, a plant that you are watering, and then realize why and how this is precious to you. And I want you to realize it as if you haven't seen it before. What are you actually noticing as you're processing its existence? This act of realizing is a beautiful creative exercise, and it helps rewire your attention away from the negative and into gratitude and beauty in real time. Number 6, remove one layer of noise for 5 minutes. This could be especially difficult for those of us who always need to have something happening, like the television's on. You always have something happening in your earbuds. So here I want you to turn off your devices, turn away from the temptation of even seeing your phone laying face up on the table, cover up your to-do list, and take a pause from household chores just for 5 minutes. And then find a place where you're in that quiet and just be with yourself. Just be quiet. I dare you. I dare you to do nothing except realize the silence of doing nothing. Our society just has groomed us so that we feel like not doing anything is boredom, and we should never be bored. We should never be quiet. We should never be idle. But actually, it's an incredibly healthy, wonderful thing to do for your brain. It's to just let it be quiet. So give it a try. I know that those first 5 minutes might seem long, but it will be really good for you. And if you do this on a regular basis, it will be something you will look forward to every day. Those minutes of quiet where you can just be and realize. Number 7, choose one thing to enjoy today and do it on purpose. So don't wait for enjoyment to happen to you. Decide that it will happen today and pick one small thing. Make that a special meal. Maybe it's pretty dishes that you choose to use. Maybe it's allowing yourself to take a leisurely walk or have a conversation with a favorite friend or take that bubble bath, and then commit to actually doing it. And then while you're doing it, realize that you're doing it and enjoy the moment. Allow yourself this time with no multitasking, no half-present mind while you stress over something you think you should be doing while you're trying to enjoy your moment. Be there for it and remind yourself that this thing that you're enjoying, it's important to you. It's important for your brain and your happiness. It's important for your well-being. This is much needed self-care. This list, my friend, I want you to do one or more of them each day, because each one of these ideas is going to help you move your brain away from a negative bias into being able to realize and see beauty in your world. Each of these ideas, my friend, are the realize phase in action. Now, let's take a break and hear a word from our sponsor. And that sponsor, well, that would be me. If this idea of waking up inside your own life and using your creativity as a tool to actually experience the blessings in your life, well, if that's resonating with you right now, I want to invite you to explore how to make these ideas fit into your life like hand into a glove. My online creative wellness membership, Silva Sessions, is designed to help you reconnect your energy, your creativity to become happier and healthier in heart, mind, body, and soul. These sessions are co-hosted by health coach Lisa Murphy, and they're going to help you figure out how to incorporate creativity into how you move, how you eat, how you sleep, and how you create today. And if you're needing more personal guidance, I offer one-to-one coaching where we take the FourWords Framework and we shape it specifically around your life, your season, your challenges, and what you are carrying right now. The discoveries you make when you come to Create Today, well, they aren't just something extra that you sprinkle into your life. These tools become how you intentionally change and maintain and steer the way you see and enjoy your life. And you can learn more at www.bdi-create.today, or check out the show notes for links that will get you set up to create today together with me. Now, it's important to know that understanding how to go forwards with the realize phase is not about making big changes in your life. It's about small shifts in how you become present in your life, how you wake up and see your world, how you actually experience and focus on the beauty and the gifts that are around you in your life, the goodness that is already there. And when you realize how you are and what matters, and what brings you even a small moment of genuine joy, you stop moving through your life on autopilot or constantly worrying about what could happen that won't be good. And you start actually living life and making memories that you will always cherish. So here's a question for you today. Where during your day or your week are you moving on autopilot and you haven't even realized it? And what would it take to pull yourself out of autopilot to actually realize the beauty in your day? Remember, the realize phase as you go forwards isn't about changing dramatically. It's about making shifts in how you are seeing your world. You start to notice more. You see a tree, the sky, you appreciate your coffee, you acknowledge and cherish the person across the table from you. And you start to notice like it matters, because it does. Now, next week, we continue to go forwards as we move into our third word. And that word is refine. But you can't refine what you haven't seen. So for now, for this next week, I want you to open your eyes and realize the world around you. And remember, my wish for you, as always, is to stay creative, my friend.